Ladies in red. Ladies in red. Ladies in red. Discuss the latest news, just fans giving their views. This channel is red. They see the bar and raise it, plus they rep for the ladies. Trust it's red. Female voices in football. Red. If you want to talk up, it's a red channel for me and you. Subscribe and tune into the Ladies in Red.
Hi guys, welcome back to Ladies in Red. I hope you are all doing well. I hope your week is going well so far. And thanks for sticking with me. I want to say a massive apology for not being as consistent with my content on Ladies in Red lately. Numerous reasons. I've been ill ever since having COVID, still 100%, but I'm getting there. I've started football, like 5-a-side football in a week. Work's just been a bit manic, and it's just been a conjunction of things. So firstly, thank you so much for sticking with me as always. I appreciate that, and I see everybody in the chat as always. Much love to you. And obviously, if you haven't been keeping up to scratch with my ECL streams, they are now on a Sunday and a Monday night doing my FIFA 23 career mode. So obviously, if I'm not on Ladies in Red, you can always catch me over there as well. But yeah, I want to say a massive hello to you all, sending love to everybody, and I hope that your week has been positive so far. Now, obviously, I'm here to talk about United. First, I want to talk obviously about what happened at the weekend against Newcastle. You haven't seen my reaction since that if you haven't been on my ECL, so we'll talk about that and my thoughts on that game. And then, of course, there's a massive game tomorrow against Spurs that I'm going to give you guys a preview for. And obviously look at your thoughts as well and see what you guys are feeling ahead of that one. So firstly, let's talk about the Newcastle game. The Newcastle game. To be fair, like, I've got to be honest, I don't think we necessarily played bad. We're not clinical enough, and I think we've seen that on many occasions, not just the Newcastle game, but throughout the season, we are not clinical enough in front of goal. I wouldn't say we didn't create chances, because I feel like we did, but just like I say, those final moments was just not being good enough. I know there's a lot of talk about the ref, and I know obviously United today have been charged with surrounding the ref and whatnot as well. Look, we can blame the ref all we want, but I think we have to hold up our hands and say, look, we didn't do enough. We didn't do enough in that final third. Like, we should have put the game to bed, and we simply didn't. They had a questionable decision as well, let's be honest, with Varane brought down Wilson. So for me, it is what it is in terms of the ref. Look, we can get frustrated at the ref, of course, and we expect refs to be up to a certain standard, and we just know they're not up to that standard. We already know that. But then we have to look at ourselves. For me, we firstly have to look at ourselves, because it's not just this game where we struggled to create. We played Ammonia in the week as well. We haven't really been clinical in front of goal, and that is coming back to bite us, I think, especially in the league at the minute. Doesn't mean, for me, that we played badly. Like I said, I don't think we played bad. I think if you look at the positives, last year we probably would have gone on to lose that game. So the fact that we haven't conceded, like we've got a clean sheet, we have to obviously recognise that. But that doesn't paper over the cracks. We know there are issues going forward. And I know we've got our injuries. Like Martial obviously has been a very big goal for us and not having him available. Ronaldo obviously hasn't been up to scratch and stuff as well. We have to take that into account. But I think we have to be honest and say, look, we didn't do enough. We did not do enough. And yeah, we can moan about the ref, and of course the ref was poor. I'm not disputing that. But simply, we just weren't good enough. Let's see what some of you guys are saying as well. Hi, Doug. I have just seen your message. That's no problem at all. I'm on Doug's channel on Thursday, guys. Hello to Shivan. Curler said, had a double dose of COVID back-to-back. Got all sorts of issues here. Sorry to hear that, Curlers, and obviously sending best wishes to you, and I hope that you're feeling much better soon. Hope Craig Pawson never refs a United game again. Shimon said the ref was against us. Curler said just no creative passing in that game. It was shocking to see. Yeah, it seems like the same old problems. Obviously, I've called this video, are we making progress? We are, but I think we're still seeing very similar problems to what we have seen. Do I think Mano or Iqbal would have done better than Fred in the last 15 or 20 minutes? How Fred stayed on for us, I don't even know. I know I've used the phrase Fredache a few times, but I think this weekend I had the biggest Fredache of all time. It was just so infuriating. A lot of people, obviously, with Casemiro coming in excited. It was the Brazil midfield with Fred. Fred, as much as I love the guy, he just ain't it. He just is not it. And I always, obviously, I'm rooting for him, and I hope that he turns the corner. He's having shots from outside the box, and he never scores them goals. Like, why are you doing that, Fred? It's just so infuriating to watch, because he'll do something mad, but then he's just so shocking on the ball. And when you're a team who are having the majority of the ball, we did massively lack having Eriksen in there, controlling their play, playing those passes in between the lines. We just didn't have that creativity from midfield with Fred in there. Eriksen, I believe, is back for the game tomorrow, which is very good news for us, but yeah, I think we definitely lacked him. Watch highlights of this game. I think Varane on Wilson, debatable. Trippier on Ronaldo was debatable, but the Sancho one is stoneball. The Sancho one was the most obvious one. Why that wasn't overturned, I still, for the life of me, I don't understand. And obviously the goal situation as well with Ronaldo. Yeah, but that Sancho one is the most baffling one for me, because that was stonewall. Why would he have gone down there? Like, he's literally chopping in. He could have still retrieved the ball afterwards. Like, he obviously caught him. He had literally got none of the ball. How that one wasn't given. But yeah, Doug, I agree with everything what you have said there. You seem to have a lack of cutting edge recently. Maybe a change of formation needed. Yeah, and I think also in certain players out of form, Sancho hasn't really been light in the league. Rashford's starting to look sharper, you'd say, but we've seen at the weekend he's not clinical in front of goal. We already knew that. And Ronaldo obviously hasn't been playing well, and Martial, to be fair, was, and he has been scoring, but injured yet again. Partial, as you know, I like to call him. The Newcastle defence got motion sickness with us passing it from left to right, 0 penetration. Very sideways. Fred was so bad. How was he not subbed? I had no clue. Fred has been atrocious, a lot of Fred hate. So has Bruno. Both of them should be dropped. The Bruno one, though, I agree, Bruno hasn't been good enough either, but I always say this. For me, when we do anything good, 9 times out of 10, Bruno's involved in it. Anything positive that going forwards from us, Bruno tends to be one who's involved in it. I don't think Bruno will get dropped, but Fred 100% should be dropped. That referee on Saturday couldn't referee getting out of bed in the morning a disgrace, says Red Devil. The thing that infuriates me is obviously our players were angry, so Klopp obviously got done for being angry as well. The officials always get away with it though. Like, they've got a job to do. Like, sometimes they get decisions wrong, I get it, but that's why we installed VAR. So to still be getting so blatant decisions badly wrong, I think is mad. Liverpool looking better with that 4-2-3-1, 4-4-2 recently, so maybe a change formation could be interesting. Yeah, definitely Liverpool are looking better as well. I feel like with your injuries as well, you've had to tweak, haven't you? And I feel like with us, you may be all right, though. You may be all right. And a big win for you, obviously, at the weekend as well. How are you feeling after that one? And hello to Mo. I hope you're doing well, Mo. So, yeah, the Newcastle game, look, we move on from it. Like I say, last year we probably would have lost it. So we have to take the positives. We can't just focus on the negatives. There's plenty of work to do going forward. What a better time to do it than against Spurs tomorrow. So I'm hoping that we actually come out the blocks. I feel our form at home has been questionable, so I feel like we need to be confident. Spurs, obviously, this season are hard to play against, but they're still getting results. They're hard to watch, but they're still getting results. So it's going to be a tough one, and they obviously can hurt us with the likes of Kane and Son as well. So we've got to be very, very mindful of that. I actually think it'll be a close game, to be fair, between us and Spurs. I don't see it being a lot of goals. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't see there being a lot of goals. I feel like Spurs are kind of be happy to sit in and be disciplined. The Conte team, they're very disciplined. But then with the likes of Kane, maybe Kulusevski, obviously Son, on the counter-attack that can cause us issues. So obviously we need to be very wary of that. I hate playing Spurs anyway, but Conte teams just infuriate me. We're not exactly in the richest vein of form. I'm just hoping that the lads have got the mindset that we need to bounce back from the weekend and not dwell on it too much. Could have been worse. But like I say, in front of goal, I'm seeing too many players hesitating, too many wrong decisions made in that final third, and it seems like a big confidence issue going forwards. But with the personnel that we have got going forwards, we shouldn't be feeling that way. So I think, let me give you my lineup, and everyone in the chat, let me know what your lineup is as well. Obviously, Martial, I believe, is still out for this game, but I also believe that Eriksen could be back in. So obviously, Eriksen is coming straight into my team. Is Kulusevski out? I didn't know that. That's good to know. Kulusevski's out. But also, they've still got Perisic as well. Spurs are on form, but they're not entertaining to watch, are they? They're not like teams going to get you out your seat, but they do the dirty work, the graft, they keep the shape well. And like I say, on that break, they've got some lethal finishers in the likes of Kane, Son, who's been flying lately as well. So there's plenty to be scared about for sure. But yeah, they just get results, they grind out results, don't they? No matter what, they seem to get results, apart from against Arsenal. So I'm going to go De Gea in goal, Delo right back, Varane and Martinez as the centre-backs. I think Luke Shaw will probably start again in this one. Thinking of a threat on the wings from Spurs. Casemiro, Eriksen, I'd put him straight back in. Bruno, I think, still will keep his place. Then I'm going to go with a front three of Anthony, Rashford and Sancho. Because I feel Ronaldo at the minute, I know he's frustrating and stuff, but I feel like we could hurt them in terms of on the counter. Like they were with us, I think we could do the same to them. And having the likes of Rashford, running at the likes of Dyer, I'd feel confident with that. Obviously, there is Romero as well, but I feel like we can unsettle them with pace. Sancho, I feel he came on, had a decent impact at the weekend. Obviously, got the assist from McTominay's the weekend. And the other weekend, get all the words right, in the week. There we go. The weekend, obviously, Sancho, again, a lot of people saying they haven't really done a lot, but I think Sancho deserves a start in this one. I feel like he's got a point to prove, and he can't even do that from the bench. With the way that Ronaldo's been playing, I would start Sancho. So Sancho, Rashford is kind of a false nine. But when I say a false nine, I mean I want them to be fluid. I want them to be able to interact. I want them to be able to switch. I want them to be able to, do you know what I mean, mix it up, not really be tied down to them positions. But I also feel Anthony is Ten Hag's man. I can't see him being dropped. And like I say, Rashford, you say out of our most attacking players, he's been the brighter looking one other than Anthony recently. I'm not saying Rashford is back or anything like that, but I feel like he started to look more like his old self, and that's why I would start him. And like I say, Sancho, I think against Ammonia getting the assist and stuff as well, he had a bit of an impact. So maybe starting from the start in this one. And then you've got the licence, obviously, to bring Ronaldo on afterwards. But Ronaldo obviously scored a belter against Spurs before as well. So maybe we're feeling confident going into this one, because confidence has been an issue for sure for all of our attacking players, it seems, of late, other than Anthony, who backs himself all the time. A question for everyone in the chat, because I've seen like apparently scout reports and concerns about Anthony being so reliant on his left foot. That doesn't mean you're not going to make it. Obviously, look at the likes of Iron Robin. But does that concern you? Because watching Anthony is definitely very... He reluctant goes on his right. He did. I remember him doing an obscure cross with his right, and it kind of went out of play. It kind of just spun off his right foot. He looked totally unnatural to him. He is very one-sided, very left-footed. Do you think when teams start to fathom him out, like he'll kind of come unstuck in the Premier League? Or, to be fair, I like seeing him on the left as well when he just goes around the outside, because he's proven he's absolutely rapid as well. So I do guess you can do that. But are anybody in the chat, are they concerned about the reports that he is too one-sided? Alex says we need to be too clinical. We need to be more clinical, otherwise we're going to drop more points and miss out on top 4 in the league, and it may cost us in cup games. So we definitely need to be more clinical, 100%. We need to learn from that game. He needs to learn to go wide or be played on the left and Sancho on the right. Exactly what I just said. I think if we could switch it up a little bit with him, he's fast enough to go around the outside, isn't he? He's a player that excites me. I'm not putting him down because I think he's a good player. I like that he backs himself and he's got that confidence, the audacity to try some of his mad flicks and whatnot. I always like players like that. We want to be entertained as fans, and I think Anthony gives you that. I'm just worried about the impact he'll have if he does kind of get fathomed out on that left. He needs to kind of adapt his game a little bit, I think, for the Premier League. Shivan, 100% the counter-attack, but I'm sure they'll be thinking the same about us as well. Like I say, if we do start them front three as well, a lot of pace and a lot of quality, we've got to hurt them. So it will be interesting to see how this game goes. I think it's going to be a tight one. Like I say, I don't expect to be a lot of goals. I hope there is. I hope it's entertaining, it's end-to-end, and it is 2 counter-attacking teams against each other, just breaking on each other. I really hope it is that way, because I feel like we could score quite a few, and I think goals would be good for us. But we know it's Conte, he's going to be more disciplined than that, and I do think it's going to be a frustrating one. I'm just hoping we've got enough quality to get it over the line. We definitely need to play like better than we did against Newcastle. Like we've already mentioned, we need to take our chances, because they're going to be few and far between, you'd think. And we need to take a lesson from that game and then, kick on, hopefully. But we shall see. Obviously, another thing I want to talk about is the Ballon d'Or. Obviously, Benzema winning that, and Ronaldo came 20th as well. The fact Ronaldo still being nominated even now, I think is crazy. And I think it's a credit to him. So, I absolutely adore Ronaldo. And to see that, I know a lot of people were bantering him, saying he's finished and stuff on Twitter. But for me, to stay at the top for as long as he has, is just incredible. And I just hope that we can see him back to, he's not his best because he's not the same Ronaldo, is he? But I'm just hoping that we can see a bit of glistening form from Ronaldo in the coming weeks, maybe a few goals, because he can still contribute goals. If not much else, he can contribute goals. So I'm hoping that Ronaldo shuts a few of his haters up and proves a few people wrong. That would be nice, wouldn't it? But Ronaldo for the Spurs game, personally, I would drop him, and I never thought I'd say that, but I do think I'd drop him just so it gives us a bit more fluidity going forwards, and like I say, so we can really hurt their defence. That's what I'll be looking for anyway. But all in all, I hope it's just an entertaining one. It's on Amazon Prime, I believe. All the games are on Amazon Prime, which I love. So I actually really like the Amazon content, to be fair. Would it be fair to say that the Premier League has the best teams and players, but the worst officials in world football? The officiating in the Premier League at the weekend was poor across all the matches. Officiating is shocking, especially when you instill something like VAR to try and correct these human errors. And obviously, we're still seeing ludicrous decisions being made, decisions that should stand that shouldn't stand, and vice versa. Like it's shocking. It's absolutely shocking. In terms of the quality of the league, for me, it's the best league in the world. But I'm from England, and I'm going to say that I'm very biased. There's quality players and quality teams elsewhere as well. But entertainment-wise, the Premier League, and almost you make you. A lot of times, like I was thinking against Newcastle at the weekend, it's better for the league, it's better for entertainment if we don't get a penalty there. Do you know what I mean? I really do think it's biased in many cases, not just for us, but for many teams. It's so frustrating. Like for City against Liverpool at the weekend, for example, I felt like now VAR, if they could, they wouldn't give it to City, because for the league, Liverpool City is exciting. Do you know what I mean? Like I always feel like there's a bias in there in terms of entertainment for the Premier League, but it is the most entertaining league in the world, definitely. It's been proven at the last World Cup that there were no Premier League ref says it all. Yep, good point. Very good point. I read today as well that Jota for Liverpool He's injured and out for the World Cup. Obviously, Reece James is as well. We're starting to hear these players now are getting unfortunate injuries at this time, which is why we always question why it was at the time it was and whatnot as well. But you've got to feel for these players missing out on such a major tournament as well. Obviously, it's a bad thing missing out in your season, but the fact that the World Cup's coming in the middle of the season, unfortunately, has meant that they can't represent the country, and it's just heartbreaking to hear that when you've worked so hard all pre-season to get ready for this, try to start the season positively, and then you get an injury just before. It's just, yeah, so obviously it's a shame. I have read that Anthony Taylor, Michael Oliver, and Craig Pawson are going to the World Cup. Is that true, Doug? I actually didn't know that. Obviously, I know that Curtis was on about the last World Cup, but I didn't know that. There'll be more World Cups for Jota, Emre's, etc. Yeah, but it's going to be hot. Like you'd say, probably, especially Jota, in the prime of his career right now, maybe. So to miss out on representing your country, like, it is a shame, to be honest with you. Like, no matter who you play for, like, you've got to say, like, as a professional footballer, to miss out on representing your country at a major tournament like the World Cup, that's gutting. I feel sorry for any teams that have one of the Premier League referees in charge at the World Cup. Hello to Brad Flintstone. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. So obviously, I've given you my lineups. I've seen a few people saying they were be happy with that. I would definitely be happy with that. But it doesn't really matter who lines up. It's about the way that we come out, isn't it? And hopefully we are at it. We haven't really been a team of two halves this season, I wouldn't say. We've had a good half here and a good half there. Hopefully this can be our most complete performance under Ten Hag. What a time to do it, like I say. And fingers crossed we get the result. I'm going to repeat my team for those who just joined. So I've gone for De Gea in goal, Delova, Varane, Martinez, Shaw, Casemiro, Eriksen, Bruno, Sancho, Rashford, Anthony. That is my team. Like I say, a fluid front three. Eriksen giving us a bit more. I feel like we have more of the ball, so Eriksen giving us a bit more quality from deep. I feel like we lost that creativity when he wasn't there at the weekend. And Bruno hopefully getting back to his best and actually having a positive influence on the game and making stuff happen would be nice, wouldn't it? But yeah, I'm intrigued. Score prediction time. I'll obviously get your score predictions in the chat as well, because I always like to see what you guys say. I need a bit of help on this one, to be fair. Yeah, I would go, Alex, hello to you. I would go for a striker in January. I don't know who, though. I'm hoping to Leo from Milan. I'd take him. I actually don't. Tony, I think I would actually consider getting Ivan Tony, to be honest with you. I really rate him. And I think in terms of his England career, future career, I would take him. I think he would come to United as well. Will we go for him? Probably not. But I think he's a realistic option for us. Curtis has gone 2-1. Hello to Lee as well, by the way. Ravestone's gone for 0-0. I hope not another one. Gakpo's a good shout as well, actually. Yeah, Gakpo. Yeah. Both. Let's go for both. What is the point of VAR when a blatant penalty is not given for Sancho foul and a goal does not stand when replays show that a free kick was clearly taken? I've told you, corruption. That's my only summary for it. Why Rashford through the middle? Spurs stand deep with no space for Rashford to run onto. I get it. I just feel like I want them to be intertwining. I think if Spurs have got obviously are breaking, I feel like we can hurt them on a counter attack. I think they're going to be very disciplined, and I get it. But I feel like when Ronaldo's there, sometimes I don't know that we're too hopeful. We're kind of pumping it into Ronaldo, thinking it's Ronaldo, and hopefully he can finish it. Like I feel like with Rashford in there, we can try and be a bit more intricate, move the ball at pace, and yeah, I don't know. I just feel like Rashford has been the sharpest. I'm doing that because nobody has really been electric, but I think he's been the sharpest with our forward options recently. And obviously Ronaldo is a great player to bring on. I wouldn't be disappointed if Ronaldo starts. Of course, he's my goat and I love him. But I just feel like for this game, I'd probably go with Rashford. 1-1 said Fred Flintstone. Conte has a good record in Manchester. He does. No one's available in January realistically. I don't know. I think Tony would actually come off. Obviously, Brentford wouldn't want to do that, but I feel like we could turn his head. Hello, Static. Hope you're doing well. Soph, do you agree with my previous comment? What was your previous comment? Spurs are going to come and stink the gaff out. We have to take advantage and put men in the box. I do agree with that, but I think we have to. Ten Hag's way of playing, obviously, he likes to be very intricate. Pass a move, kind of play with clever runs for Eriksen to be our playmaker to try and pick out. No Richarlison on Kulusevski, which is good news for us. High betting against United, but I think Spurs will counter-attack us. Well, you'd think we're going to have more of the ball in this game. You'd think they're going to play that way. But I'm just hoping that we can kind of counteract that by also hurting them with our forward options. We need Eriksen back in midfield. Eriksen definitely has to go back, get him back, and I fancy our chances of winning against Spurs. Good luck, Sophie. I think United will win just 1-0. I would like to see Sancho and Anthony switch wings more. Yeah, we mentioned that earlier, Ian, and see Anthony run around the outside a bit more because he's definitely fast enough. On the right, he likes to cut in far too much for my liking. I fancy Spurs 2-1, can see Kane getting a dubious penalty for tomorrow. Sounds unlike Kane. We should be looking at putting a cheeky bid in for Tielemans in January with his contract up in the summer. Instantly improves. Well, Arsenal linked with him for ages as well. I was surprised that he stayed there, to be fair, but I do rate Tielemans. Note that we won against Ammonia after bringing Eriksen off the bench and didn't win against Newcastle in his absence. Yeah, he's so key to us. Tielemans for squad depth in January. I don't know if he'll come, to be fair, but I'd like him. But Ben says, good evening, Sophie. All VAR has done is taking the opinion of the referee on the field and giving it the opinion to someone else. Yeah, exactly what I said before. We're trying to avoid human error, but we're still relying on humans to make the decision, even though they're looking at a monitor. It hasn't solved anything. And TT says Andy Carroll. I'm guessing that's on about the strikers we could get in January. I believe, is he at Reading now? Is he still signed for Reading? We can't leave spacing in defence because Spurs will thrive when our spacing to run into, and Son's such an intelligent player at finding those pockets, isn't he? We know what he can do when he does pick it up in those areas. We need to be mindful of that. Casemiro, I'm hoping he's disciplined and he can try and intercept those and try and stop their counter-attacks as much as possible. That's why I would start him, because he just positionally is such a good CDM. Hello to David. Spurs will probably rely on Kane dive to win a penalty and scab a 1-0 win. That does sound like a Conte win, to be fair, doesn't it? Especially under Spurs lately. Hopefully that isn't the case, though. My score prediction, I think it's going to be tight. I'm going to say 2-1 to United. I do think we'll concede maybe a dubious Kane penalty, but I'm just hoping we've got enough for them going the other way. I'll tell you what, I'd love it if Rashford came off the bench and got the winner. Ronaldo came off the bench and got the winner. If Rashford does start, that would be nice, wouldn't it? But yeah, I'm going to go for a 2-1. I'll very rarely bet against us. I do think we'll concede. I'm just hoping we just scrape it, but I think it's going to be a tight game. I think more importantly, we can get a referee who actually just do that honestly, fair and unbiased. If that's the case, I think we'll win. You can excuse a ref for a mistake in real time, but you can't excuse... Exactly, they slow it down. They look at it for minutes on end. You've seen some decisions taking 10 minutes and you're just thinking, it's still down to human error. Regardless what anybody says, it's still down to human error at the end of the day, and it's just so frustrating that we're just not competent enough, unfortunately, in our league. And it's so frustrating, especially when the decisions are as blatant as they have been and so inconsistent as they have been of late. It's just, infuriating as a fan, isn't it? And I'm sure as a player as well. But we can't change that. It is what it is, unfortunately. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. I had to do a little quick preview with you. Like I say, apologies that I haven't been consistent. I will be getting that consistency back now. I'm feeling more like myself after this COVID. But yeah, I hope you're all well, smiling. Hopefully we'll still be smiling tomorrow night as well. That would be nice, wouldn't it? And hopefully we see a positive performance from the Reds and a few goals as well. And of course, the main thing, the 3 points. But guys, thank you so much. Hit a like on the video if you are new. And if you're new, please hit the sub on Ladies in Red as well. And of course, if I miss any of your comments, I can still see comments coming in right now. Let's have a look. Coming from his first one, I think Liverpool look better with Gomez in defence. Yeah, Gomez looks good, to be fair. I'll put him in the England squad personally. Simon Hooper is the ref for tomorrow. Who would you prefer as the low backup? Since Ten Hag thinks Williams is better than Wan-Bissaka. Good question, actually. I would love Lamptey. I would actually love Lamptey from Brighton. I know he's been injured and stuff, but I like him, to be fair. But I don't know, actually. It's a good question. That's what I need to think about, a right back. Who would I have right now as a backup? That's the key thing. Who would be happy to be coming to United as a backup? Good question. But guys, thank you so much. Hit a like on the video. Hit the subscribe button on Ladies in Red. Keep an eye on my Twitter to see when I'm back next live. Come on United tomorrow. Let's get that win. Take care, guys. See you soon.